You are now listening to No Dumb Idea.
No dumb idea. No dumb idea.
You are now listening to No Dumb Idea.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jesus.
Is that me?
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to No Dumb Idea. It is a pop culture podcast that uses trivia, game shows, little improv scenes, to express its dumb ideas, that are fun takes on pop culture. I'm your host, Gibbledang, also known as the new Batman villain, Gay Face.
Nice.
Is that good?
I like it.
Does that work?
And I am GymleaderNate, also known as the new villain, Bear Arms.
Ooh.
Oh.
I want to get into that,
yeah.
but I'm Dala, and better known as Sick Boy, but not for the reasons you think.
Okay.
I
Okay,
that.
I like that.
Bear Arms, is Bear Arms have his arms bare, or are they actual animal bear arms?
He has colossal bear arms that are literal bear arms that he
nice.
uses to wield large Gatling guns and rocket launchers.
Okay.
And his goal is to show Batman is foolish for not using guns.
Nice.
Okay, and
What's
Our greatest
And,
weapon.
and this is why they call me Gay Face.
nice?
Yeah, really great. I really hope that
That's-
translates
does that
to our
translate?
podcast. Yeah.
And that's why they call me Sick Boy.
Alrighty, everybody.
I'm sick.
It's a new week. It's a new week. It's a new episode. I'm sure you're getting the gist of what we're spitting out or coughing up. But why don't we get into our weekly origin stories? I'll start first. Gibbledang, aka Gay Face. Yeah. So my week has been pretty productive. I've started a new job. I'm not gonna say what it is, but I'll say it's pest control. So I guess that's what it is.
Little hint.
A little hint, but
It rhymes with
it's
Vest Patrol.
Rides a schmashman troll.
smash troll. But it's I've noticed that all of my jobs have been different from the last. I've never done the same thing twice. So jack of all trades, master of none.
Nice. I like to use jack
yeah.
and master, like jack off, masturbate,
Exactly.
Soon to be a master of,
pests.
thumping raccoons.
Yeah. Make me a
Well,
coat.
no. I don't have to. No,
That's
raccoons.
what I imagine as somebody who controls pets.
Those is-
They're,
yeah.
most of the
Fucking
job
Raccoons.
is raccoon
Raccoons are the
thumping.
only real
Jesus,
pests.
no.
I like bugs.
The
They're
biggest
fine.
thing would be like rats. That's what we have to. Rat's the biggest
I
one.
don't know.
Yeah.
Raccoons are
Rats
bigger.
with pellet guns. Yeah.
Raccoons are
No, we have to
bigger.
stomp on them.
The raccoons.
They just
to
give
stomp
you
on the rat.
a designated pair of rat
Yeah.
stomping boots.
Tim's. Just giant
Alright.
metal Tim's.
Gym leader
Comes out of
Nate.
your first paycheck.
Gym leader Nate. Is Ratcatcher a real Batman villain or not?
Rat catcher?
Yeah.
I would say yes.
All right.
What's,
Ding ding
why
ding.
wouldn't
You're
they?
right.
What's the one in?
I was going to say, why wouldn't they
What's
be?
the TMNT one called? Because I was like, fuck, what's that one? I was trying to remember his name. Is that
The Rat Fucker.
Rat Snatcher?
Yeah, that's
Anyway,
it.
rat-
so
that's
the
it.
rest,
Rat snatcher, and he is a rat fucker.
Dala.
I'll take it. Oh, is this a quiz?
Yeah, it is a quiz.
Okay.
Ratcatcher's name is Lorenthal James.
Is that true or false? Or is that a true or false?
Yeah, true or false?
Okay, I was like expecting more. Sorry, one more time. His name is
Lorenthal
James.
Orenthal James.
Orenthal James.
Orenthal James. Hold on, let me go grab my rat catcher book and just check. I'm gonna say sure because that
There's
sounds.
no way they actually did.
I'm gonna say
that.
sure because I want
There's
that to be
no
true.
way that they gave him the name
Orenthal.
of the juice.
Well, what's fucking Sonic's real name? like Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't know.
Oh,
It's not
Orville.
OJ Simpson's real.
Yeah.
It's not OJ Simpson's real name, which you fell for. But
Sure.
you know, we'll. Oh yeah, it is Orville the Hedgehog. or
Orville, that's what
something.
it was.
Orville, yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
you know
said
what?
I
This week's
want.
episode is not.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about Orville the Hedgehog. You know. So before we get into that, this week's premise. That was my week. Why don't we go ahead and go into the next villain's week? What is it? Bear Arms.
Bear Arms. I will show Batman the greatest thing about America, the right to bear arms. My week's been good. Just playing a lot of Magic, honestly, online. As per usual, let's be real. And
No, let's be fake.
like,
I'd rather be fake.
let's be fake,
Being
yeah.
Fake.
Okay, well, fake wise, I've been hiking. You know, I've been eating really healthy.
Skydiving.
Real talk
been
though, I've been
I've been
cutting back
saving
on
money.
drinking.
Oh,
And,
nice.
like, actually, honestly, I've been cutting back on drinking and to save money, and it's
Nice. I'm
been
sure.
nice because I'm still not very far in, but it's just like I'm just gonna like kind of not drink for a while.
Yeah.
It's just
Nice.
having myself a little bit of a sober break.
A sober tober. I feel you.
A sober tober in
Yeah.
August.
It goes into. It's like Oktoberfest though, where it starts early. You know. It goes into
I'm having a
October.
straight edge August.
August.
You know me, at just edging.
Edging
Anyways, how
August.
about you, Dala?
Yeah. Sick Boys.
Or sorry.
No, you're good.
Sick boy.
I was gonna say Sick Boy is not It's a real 100% real. I'm a little sick. It's probably why I sound gay. But
What? Hold on. Are you under the impression
Stupid.
I just want to see your guys' face.
that gay people have a distinct sound and that sound is like congested?
Do I sound
Coughing and sneezing and.
no.
You don't sound any different, so I'm not sure what you're referring
That's why.
to.
Hey,
I'm
supposed to be
no
sick.
different. No, I'm just fucking around.
So we know, we find out.
Yeah.
KNOW.
Yeah.
We're no different.
But no, yeah, so I've been sick, so just been kind of recuperating. But I am pissed because I had early screening for the movie Cuckoo. It was free early screening where we had a sign and they would record our reaction, so we could have been in a fucking trailer or something.
In the trailer.
But then
Watch Cuckoo right now.
Oh god,
Oh
it's
my
just me
God.
peeing.
You would have thrown your popcorn like the AMC guy. Do you remember that?
No, this MC
yeah.
guy.
Okay.
Huh.
That's true. We don't usually go to an AMC.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
No, fair. But yeah, so I'm just mad because I couldn't make it.
Actually,
And
screw AMC.
yeah, but yeah.
Embarrass myself.
That's sad. Yeah, I'm sorry.
It's-
That would have been really cool.
Yeah, I don't think we would have been in anything, but it was just kind of like I was also just bummed because I was like, fuck, I wanted to see Cuckoo like a day early.
I'm assuming that's a horror.
Yes, a horror.
Yeah.
It's a horror
Yeah.
movie.
A horror.
Horror.
Sorry. See, that's why when you're interesting fact when you're in acting school for the stage,
Mm-hmm.
they tell you that you have to say it horror,
Mm-hmm.
and it's because from far away when your voice travels, that word
Just-
muddles really badly.
Yeah.
And it's like no matter how hard you pronounce horror, it
Horror.
still just sounds like you're weirdly saying horror.
It's not like a goddamn
Yeah,
like.
that's why I didn't make it far in acting academy.
It just
Because my voice cracks a lot.
oh, are you guys gonna watch the horror movie?
Oh, the horror! Oh, Rick!
Oh. But,
Mainly it's because I pronounce it horror,
Yeah.
so they never had to give me that note.
they're like, you sound like a damn like a fisherman from fucking H.P. Lovecraft like book. Just yeah.
I feel like if that was your real accent, then you could get jobs in a lot of different places in TV.
Bro, probably. Tight cast though for sure.
Here, Kevin James. Here's your mail. See you next Wednesday. What? Does
It's
that
like
work?
yeah, there you go.
James, nice.
I was gonna say it's basically how half of Mark Wahlberg's career works.
Yeah.
How it works.
Okay.
Fair.
Yeah, that's how that works. That's how that functions.
Yeah. But yeah, that's pretty much been my week. I mean, I'm trying to think if there's anything else note like worthy, but it's just kind of been mostly that. I mean, well, we saw Deadpool Wolverine too, I guess. So that happened. Well, that happened.
Yeah. That happened.
Awkward.
What the Sigma? That happened.
Regenerate?
Deadpool and two sideways.
I can't die.
Batman.
What? It was cool. It was fun. You know.
I'm gay for I'm gay for Wolverine.
Wolverine's two
Wolverine,
sideways
aka
Batmans.
Batman.
Two sideways Batman's kissing. That's fine.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
True.
Sideways or sideways?
Yeah,
Batman?
because
Like profiles.
his mask is two Batmans facing each other kissing.
Yeah.
Okay. I see.
Yeah. No, it's a cool movie. Good movie.
It was cool. If you're hearing this by now, you know, you 10 listeners, I'm sure you've seen the movie. Everybody has. And if not, the trailers and the director and the actors and the fucking cinematographers, everybody has spoiled it now. So,
Yeah, fair.
I'm sure you know everything. Everybody
It's all
knows
over
everything.
everything. Yeah.
But, we liked it.
Honestly,
I'm trying to think of what to say.
Yeah. Oh, I like it.
I think it ended up being such a. Somebody put it online that the previous two Deadpool films, while breaking the fourth wall and having that kind of nature to them, weren't quite like this one, where this one was also like basically an open satire of all of the multiverse movies that Marvel has made recently. And where it's like the others were like, you know, they were very very silly and very meta. It's just like this one was just so like just everything was a joke reaching beyond the movie, and
I do wonder what
I appreciated it a lot.
I do wonder how this one's gonna age though too, with that like sense. Like in 10 years, new people seeing it are gonna be like, I wonder if they're gonna like get it or not. You know, just because there's so many.
That's
the one
that is a really
big concern.
But in-
drawback.
Yeah.
In 10 years, new people, I mean, people right now probably haven't seen the Iron Man movies. Like,
Yeah.
I'm hearing that's a thing.
True.
So I'm sure in 10 years, people aren't even going to give a shit, you know?
Yeah.
Because there's going to be the new product there's going to be Star Wars 14
Yeah.
that
I hope
reboots everything, you know?
No,
It's
yeah.
going to happen.
I-
It's going to happen,
I
whether
feel-
you like it or not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean, if you
think,
count all the Star Wars, it's probably already there. It's probably already on like.
They're already working on.
Right, well,
they're already
true.
working on episode 10.
Yeah.
10. I honestly, I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. I think I like number 2 the most.
That's
I think
fine.
Deadpool 2 is my favorite Deadpool.
I'm gonna go with one personally. But I like two and
yeah.
they're all really good and all like neck and neck. But I like one the most, I think, as like a movie.
That's the thing, true. I think they're all neck and neck.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it. It's like
Pick your favorite.
89, 90, 91%.
Yeah, it's like just
2.
pick or just like listener pick your favorite. Correct. It's a multiple choice question where they're all correct, you know.
I think mine is probably gonna. I think mine is gonna actually be 3.
Ooh, nice.
Just-
one per person. I like it.
Yeah, just because like. I don't know. Because it was so. I don't know. I felt like it's like. It nailed the exact job it was trying to do. I felt like.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Whereas like it was kind of the gag in like 1 and 2 was that like, oh, these are the only characters we can get licensed to use.
Yeah.
So these are the X-Men who showed up, and now it's just, I think it's just so perfect that like the second that they have the ability to license a bunch of characters, they just just barrage the movie with
Well,
it.
also like the ones that
And
are
it's just
you
like-
wouldn't want to see either, or like not you don't want to see, but you know, like the kids nowadays don't.
If
know.
I remember, and yeah, exactly. And so I think it was, I think it was just so nice, and it was like just also just such a great love letter to all the Fox movies, and like a send off to like, thanks for everything.
Oh, definitely.
Like here's the last hurrah.
Should have had more Fantastic Four characters, though, I will say.
I think my last
True.
note on Deadpool and Deadpool 3 basically, it has my favorite.
The 3 pull?
Yeah, three pulled. It has my favorite joke out of the whole franchise, the proposal.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that
a
was-
great one.
That was my favorite joke out of the whole franchise.
I could lightly tap into the fourth wall too. The proposal.
What the shit?
Honestly,
It also he doesn't break the fourth wall because he's nice pool. He just lightly taps it.
Yeah. It's so
my favorite Deadpool joke. It does come from Deadpool 2. It's
I know.
it's when Colossus asks Deadpool to join the X-Men for like the second or third time, and Deadpool's like, "Look, I have a lot of reasons why. First of all, I'm not a virgin. Second of all," and then like, I forgot what he goes off on, but
Yeah.
it's super funny.
I thought you were gonna do the Black Tom Cassidy one because that one's pretty good from the second one.
Oh, that's also I think it has like a lot better punchlines than the second one. That's probably why I like it a little bit more.
That's fair. That's fair. There were like a lot of good.
Oh, and
I feel
better
like a lot of
action.
the comedy was heavy disagree. I'm sorry, heavy disagree.
The only really good action scene in Deadpool 3 was the Honda Odyssey fight, but like the action in Deadpool 2 is just way better overall, in my opinion at least, because it's like
I felt like every fight, or at least the big ones, like specifically both Deadpool Wolverine fights and the fight that Gambit, Elektra, and X-23 and them and Blade were all in.
Yeah.
Like, that was so fun for me. Watching Channing Tatum be Gambit was sick.
One thing I wish.
I mean, it's cool to see them in action, but they're all like, it's all like the third movie's fights are pretty generic in my opinion.
I will say,
like,
I wish
they're cool,
Yeah.
but they're generic.
I agree in that part, and I was gonna say I wish there was a fight where, because Deadpool and Wolverine are so invulnerable, I wish there was like a Looney Tunes-esque fight. Like I like the Honda one especially,
A cannonballs,
where they're just blowing each
or
other
like,
to bits and like flying around, because they're basically cartoon characters, because they're both invulnerable.
Yeah, how come no one got decapitated? No one got
Or
like
Deadpool, at least.
dismembered?
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
oh my
just
God,
make it a
if
little more
Wolver- no.
like slapstick cartoony. Personally,
Yeah.
that would have been my
They
personal
did,
preference.
honestly, that's true, because it seemed like they did take the easy way out, where just everything was just stabbing each other,
Yeah.
and that
Yeah.
way, like, they didn't have to do any effects for injuries.
They
Like,
did do-
It was just, you just assume they got stabbed, and then it healed immediately, and then they just keep stabbing.
And they did do the one with the Deadpool core at the end, where they were, and then they all get regenerated. But even then, it was like, I want more of that, But just like with Wolverine,
Yeah.
I think, like I said, they're all real good for all different reasons too. So, like I said, multiple choice, they're all
I
correct.
will say, I feel a little disappointed
Mm-hmm.
that Deadpool in none of the three movies they never brought in his infinity items, basically his ability. Like, canonically, Deadpool can kind of pull out things that
Or, like,
are insane to be that are huge, like a cartoon. He's done it like 4 times.
Like mallet
I
space
don't
or something.
know about that. I don't know if he has
Essentially,
mallet
he has-
space.
He might, because there was a period where he could
essentially does,
teleport.
because he pulls out guns
Yeah.
that are like sometimes that are like
Bigger.
literal, like you said, like cannons.
Yeah.
And he'll just be like,
I wouldn't be
and
surprised.
pull them
it's-
out from his belt.
I wouldn't be surprised there's a storyline where it's like, I got this like mallet space belt that I have or something, because he's had a teleporter in his first few. He used to be able to teleport, and then they got rid of that because they were like, let's not do that anymore. I don't know. Deadpool's such an interesting character if you follow him in the comics, because he's nothing like he was. What they made was not even anything close to what he is now. Like they just made a jobber that ended up taking
That's
off.
so true.
It's really cool.
But this episode isn't about Deadpool
Yeah.
or Wolverine. It's about Batman.
Ooh, let's get revenge on him, or vengeance.
Let's get revenge on Batman. It's me, Gayface. Ooh, I'm scary.
And me, bear arms.
Sick boy here.
But our mafias don't like each other. So
Okay, we'll band
I ain't-
together.
I ain't working with none of you.
What?
I'll take him on
No
myself.
truce?
And I'll be the first one that gets like the shit beaten out of me and then arrested.
You get your arms ripped off.
Yeah,
It's okay, 'cause I didn't kill
would
you.
Batman, yeah, he's like, see, that's the Batman I really want to see. He fucking like slicing people and making like
Yeah.
chopping hands off and doing stuff like that.
Cauterizing their
Technically,
wounds
he
and
doesn't kill.
He
them.
basically just
Turns-
turns them into like little bean.
Turns them
people.
into gummy bears. Yeah.
Like they're just like armless, legless. You know what? That's funny. That reminds me of Scud. The Disposable
That'll teach
Assassin.
you.
The comic. Fucking hell.
Okay, so let's
Yeah.
get into this week's premise.
What
It's
about
all
Batman?
about Batman.
What about him?
Batman Caped Crusader came out recently, and we'll talk about that in the latter half of the episode. But right now, why don't we get into thoughts and feelings about Batman?
Thoughts and
Me
prayers, thoughts
as
and
gay.
prayers.
Well, I guess me as Gibbledang, not as gay face. We'll get into that, but you know, I loved Batman growing up. He was always one of my favorite heroes. I was always really big into like the gothic horror. He's got an insanely good rogues gallery. And just growing up, there's all of the I happened to grow up during all of the animated series that he had. Well, excluding the like 60s ones. But, you know, I managed to see Batman the animated series, The Batman, Batman Beyond, Brave and the Bold, and I think there was one more. There's a Beware the Batman, I believe it is. And so yeah, it's always been a part of the of like it's obviously a big part of culture. I was a big fan, and I still am. You know, I've read of not too much of his stuff, but some pretty good runs of his stuff, and you know, I did feel myself disconnecting with the character the moment that I realized that he's a rich billionaire, you know, like, and sure, if anyone listening, call me whatever you want, I don't care, but it's like,
Kinky.
you know, I get you're dressing up and having fun and, you know, beating people up, and
Yeah.
the one thing I don't give a shit about that argument is like, oh, he's beating up the mentally unwell people. It's like, no, not all of them are mentally unwell. A lot of them are very aware of what they're doing, and they're just pieces of shit, you know. You don't need to completely make Batman the villain. But the whole, I don't know, I find myself having a hard time like identifying with that as I get older, I guess. But you know, I guess that leads me into, you know, I feel like that's my overall exposure. That, and, you know, I love Tim Burton. I've said that before. And he's done the first two live-action Batman movies, excluding the TV movie. And those two are some of my favorite movies ever. I think they really capture, like, a nice gothic noir kind of tone. You know, with all that being said, I don't know. What's your guys' kind of like feelings about Batman? How do you guys feel about Batman?
Batman for me was definitely an acquired taste over time. Growing up, he was never really on my radar. Honestly, when I was a kid, most superhero related things were hard for me to pay attention to unless I bought the graphic novel like compendiums of their comics, because I just didn't have the didn't have the drive or attention span to like stay interested to like renew issues and stuff as they came out. And then as I grew up, because I already was very solidified in like the manga world,
Nice.
it took me a long time to catch on and start really reading American comics. I always used to read all of the articles and the lore drops and stuff. So I would just read lore about the ones that I liked.
For like characters or
So,
something?
like,
or like stories?
Yeah, when I was like characters, when I was a kid, people would talk about all these superheroes, and I would go look them all up and be like, "Who are these superheroes? Cool." And then I'd be like, okay, these are all kind of interesting. I really like the Green Lantern, or something like that. Like, and then, but like, that was mostly because I was autistic, and I felt like I had to have favorite superheroes, so that people, when they asked me, I had answers, and I wasn't just like Naruto.
Yeah, you were autistic, right? You said you grew out of it?
Yeah, as we all naturally do. It's a maturity thing. So, yeah, so I kind of caught on to actually reading comics when I finally got to college. That was when I started, I found a couple websites where I would just read them for free, because that was also a big barrier for me. Was just like anytime I had spending money, I had other hobbies that I focused on more, and that's where all my spending money went for hobbies. And so like there was never any extra spending money for comics, and so when I started reading them all for free when I was like 18, 19, that was when I started to actually read some Batman. Of course, I like started with all like the like really big storylines that like were recommended to me by a Batman fan, one of my best friends in college. And so he was like, okay, like immediately read these. These I think are interesting enough that it will make you want to read more Batman. And it was like Killing Joke and Death in the Family. And then I ended up reading Death of the Family as well. But anyways, that was like, that kind of like made me start to actually look into Batman more, because like my entire perception of Batman growing up was just the movies, was literally just the movies.
As I'm sure most
so
people.
So it was like Batman to me was Batman whipping out a credit card that had Batman on it and going, I always have it on me.
Nice.
Or whatever.
That's how all the comics are, right? He goes and just buys the problem away.
Yeah, like when he was bidding for a date with Poison Ivy. And so like that's what Batman is in my head, is the like Batman Forever, Batman and Robin. That was
Schumacher Batman,
the best one.
The Schumacher Batmans, the Batman.
Hell yeah.
Batmans. That was truly. My dad had all the collector's glass mugs.
Oh wow.
That had the.
So maybe we should have his dad on here instead.
Carved into the side.
Ooh.
My dad loved the Schumacher Batman movies.
That's sick though.
And honestly, I still do, just because they're so campy. Yeah. And ridiculous.
Did he grow up with the original show in the 60s? Because that could be why he loves those ones so much. Because it's the similar tone.
It's a mix of the 60s and like Tim Burton stuff.
So that makes sense.
Yeah, my dad watched he would watch reruns of the show.
Yeah.
In the 70s.
Oh, nice.
When he was a teenager.
Batman, it's me, Robin. I'm gay.
But not for you.
It's my new character. That's my new character. I'm workshopping.
So
would be a good name for him?
That's what I was trying to think of, like Gaben, Rob Gay.
Gobbin.
That's really it for me. In my later years, when I finally like took a class for I took a comic book history class when I was in college as part of like getting my credits done. Luckily it was a cool class that was available, and I got to read some OG Batman comics from Detective Comics, because the teacher of the class had all of these like extremely influential comics. He literally had he either had compendiums for them or the actual issues. Oh, wow. And he would make Xerox copies of his issues and bring them in for the class to read.
Is this a real Detective Comics number 27? Yeah, why? Rip.
Yeah.
Sorry. Oops.
That's why. No, he brought in pieces of paper.
Yeah. No, I would not fucking try that. That's cool, though. Yeah, for me...
What about you, Dala?
Yeah, I was going to say, I grew up with the movies and the show, like, the animated series, and then like the Batman I remember watching when I was like in maybe late elementary, middle school. But I remember liking it and like other people complaining and being like, it's different, like this and that. I'm like, what? Like it's like, yeah, I get it, but it's a different show. It's like, I don't know.
Why do you want the same thing?
Yeah, it's like, just watch the original if you want the original, like, or animated series or whatever. It's like, I don't get it's good. It's still good. I would highly recommend. But yeah, and then I think around high school, I ended up, I don't know how or when or why, but I ended up getting 2 Batman books. I got a big, like, book of fucking Knight's Fall that collected, like, Knight's Fall with, like, Bane's introduction that I really liked. And then the other one was Dark Knight Returns, which is the Frank Miller one. And that one is, like, I love that one. Such a good book, beautifully drawn and rendered and scripted and everything, and that's kind of what got me into like the comics, at least, and comics in general probably, is that plus like Doom Patrol by Grant Morrison. Like those really collectively got me into the comic book series collecting, I guess. What's next question, Judge? Give me a hard one.
Man, I feel bad. I feel like I rambled, and you were like, "Oh yeah, it's just this."
Well, yeah.
Oh god, I feel like I talked for way
You're
too
good.
long. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. I just
Now I know about your professor
Yeah.
and what your professor thinks and his fucking favorite color and all that shit. But it's okay.
And my
it's all right.
dad's
Yeah, your dad
favorite
had-
And your
Batman.
dad's
Your dad
favorite
had fucking
Batman,
cups.
everybody. Did you even answer the question?
yeah, that's what I'm saying. We should have your dad on the
I just
show
told you-
instead.
Well, this is what everybody else I know likes, so I guess that's what
Yeah.
I like.
That'd be funny. You're like, I
Well,
actually
and-
hate Batman. I'm gonna ramble.
I
will.
guess my
Yeah, go ahead.
what will you say? What will you say?
Well, I was gonna say I do feel like similar with Gibbledang, where like I think modern day comic Batman disinterests me, except for with one exception, which I'll probably get into later. But for the most part, he just disinterests me. I think similar for like the political issues, but also just it's kind of. I think we've had a discussion off like when we were hanging out one time. It's just like there's too much continuity. They need to really reset Batman and other comics for that matter. But
Yeah.
there's just too much. Where
Yeah.
it's like it's ridiculous.
But
A new 52, if you will.
they're gonna try.
104.
Actually, they are gonna try to.
Yeah, absolutely.
They are gonna try to do something new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
But,
I'm stoked.
do you
but,
guys have a?
yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how it turns out. But do you guys have a like favorite Batman or like a favorite Batman costume? I know right off the bat, I'm a really big right off the bat. Hey, huh?
Hey, oh.
Hey, that's good.
Man.
I didn't mean to do that, but that's good,
Right
right?
off the bat.
Right off the Robin.
You know, I do like, I am a big fan of the classic, you know, where he's just got the little gloves and the big ears and the kind of gray, like, I wouldn't say it's like a sweater, but I imagine it being like a cloth suit,
Like
you
his
know,
first
the
suit
OG
ever.
Batman,
Yeah.
his first suit.
I love it when it's rendered in games or like media.
Oh yeah, I'm thinking of Arkham Asylum.
Exactly. Yeah.
And then I love the Tim Burton Gothic aesthetic, specifically like the Batman Returns bat suit. Amazing, really good. I do like the Robert Pattinson suit. It's a little too like cargo-y for me. I don't like the nipples Batman or Nolan Batman. Or honestly,
I don't like
or
Batman.
Batfleck,
I don't
really.
like any Batman.
No, or Batfleck. Yeah, those are like the movie ones. I think in terms of like comic book, I love like Gotham by Gaslight or The Doom That Came to Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Those are both Batman stories written and drawn by Mike Mignola, I believe.
I don't think
And they both take
the second one isn't drawn by him, but he wrote it. The Doom that came to
which one?
Doom that came to Gotham is drawn by someone else, and I can look at it if you want.
Okay. There we go. But they're both different interpretations of Batman that take him back to like an 1800s, like 1930s, like in between those times. Like one's in the Victorian era and the other one is in the like 1920s or 1918s, I believe, or like 1910s or whatever. I think those are my favorite, mainly because, like in terms of comic book, mainly because they take the core of what Batman is and reinvent it without like, I don't know. I feel like Batman works best not in the modern times.
Mm-hmm.
I think that he's starting to maybe get like outdated in some senses. Like, I don't know. But I think his stories work best as like period pieces.
Mm-hmm. It's like Elseworlds
But,
stuff.
yeah. Basically, I think like the best Batman stories are ones that have no continuity, that aren't tied to anything else. Like, sure, you have that like aforementioned knowledge, but I don't know.
I think animated Batman will always look better than live action Batman.
Yeah.
And it's proven time and time again. I think like you were talking about, I think the Arkham games Batsuit is probably my favorite Batsuit for sure.
That's a good one.
I don't like armor or padding.
I think specifically the first one, like specifically that first one.
Yeah.
Where
Tactical.
where it's just Arkham Asylum. It's because they do tactical a lot now.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, this one is still better because of all, it's coloring. His suit has the gray tone to it, and then black for the cape.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's better than just all
black.
of the black on black.
Oh, definitely. It's kind of tinted yellow belt
suits.
too, kind of. Like
He
it's
does have a
slightly
yellow belt. Like
just saturated.
it's still a tactical belt, but I enjoy this one a lot. That's the thing, is that I don't have as much of a dislike of the militarized look anymore. I especially with the Nolan Batmans, I always had a really great time watching the Nolan Batmans, especially, I don't know, it's so funny because it's the black sheep of those movies too, but I thought Batman Begins was so good. I still love that movie, and specifically in Batman Begins, he had these like more classical things to the suit before they made it even more ninja and tactical in the future movies.
I do like the aesthetic of Batman Begins way more.
Yeah, and he had that real extra long cape, and like it just had such an imposing figure whenever you saw him swooping into a scene. I thought that looked pretty good. But yeah, in general, I still think that the animated series, it's like, again, all live action. That's just my favorite of the live actions. When animated always looks better. And I think the big thing, like what Gibbledang was saying, is that like because of the period, it's like I can't see him in just the normal style suit because it's so modern. And it's like I feel like now he looks out of place in a modern telling of Batman, whereas when you tell the old Batman in its period, he looks
so much better.
Perfect. So where everybody's walking around in big suits and fedoras and with Tommy guns, then just a guy in spandex with a cape.
I'm the gabagool. I'm a ghoul.
It makes him feel more crazy, at least, or like more of like
unhinged.
Just that, I think I like when Batman is more of an unhinged, trauma-ridden asshole.
Yeah,
it's more complex and interesting.
Yeah,
exactly.
I mean, because back then there's no counseling or anything. It's just throw him in an insane asylum.
Right.
Yeah.
Just lobotomize him.
There we go. He'll never think of a bat again because he can't
but
think.
Only if they're women.
Well,
was that
I think there's more.
You have
there's other shit. Yeah. For me, yeah.
Yeah.
I was trying to remember the question. Yeah. I think movie wise, I don't know if there's any that like I feel like I'm pretty cool with most of them. Like there's like features on each one I could probably point out and like say that I like. But I think then there's like the problem of like they could look cool, but then they don't move well or something, so it's like none of those are my favorite. Like I think what like GymleaderNate was saying, it's like animated or like drawn, how is intended basically is always the best, to me.
I'm sure we all agree Kevin Conroy is the best Batman. That's like, Mark Hamill's the best Joker. Like,
yeah.
In terms of like, well, yeah, they kind of transcended their roles.
Yeah.
They kind of defined their roles, honestly.
I'm trying.
That's a given.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think if there's any particular Batmans I want to point out. I mean, I think like we were saying, a lot of the Elseworld stuff. Like I love Arkham Asylum, Serious House, Serious Earth. That's
Batman Beyond.
Dave McKean. Batman Beyond's cool.
Ooh.
It's a good one.
Batman Beyond's good.
That's
Beyond
basically.
suit.
Yeah.
What if Batman was Spider-Man?
Kinda, yeah.
Yep.
In the future.
In the future.
They have Spider-Man 2099. We got to make this, and then Spider-Man made a unlimited.
Batman 2099.
Yeah.
Yep.
They made it limited, and it sucked. Man, I was just thinking, it's funny. It's like I think Batman to me is kind of like, it's similar to Wolverine, where I'm like thinking both of them. I kind of like all the costumes for the most part, or there's like things I can point out. Like I could be like, Red Rain, that one. I love Kelly Jones as Batman. I love fucking what's his name, Neil Adams.
Neil Adams.
Yeah, like the original.
nice.
one of like the original like artists. I'm trying to think if there's like an
Ramos?
artist that I think of when I think Batman, but
Magnola, fucking.
but no, like when I think of Batman, which that's why I'm trying to think if there's
Scott
one
Snyder
for artists
and
Greg Capullo.
Greg Capullo.
He's a good one.
Yeah.
I think for me it would
He's
have to
good.
be like it's fucking who it is? It's Norm Brayfogle from the 80s. That's probably the Batman I think of. It's like the blue like just it's pretty much like like the what you probably I don't know what I think of when I think Batman. It's like blue on gray, just big ass cape, big horns,
Big ears Batman.
yeah, big ears Batman. Probably that. That's
I'm
probably
big ears Batman.
because when I think of Spider-Man, I think of Mark Bagley. So that's why I was like, who's the Batman artist?
Batman. Oh.
Yeah,
When I think of Spider-Man, I think of Batman.
yeah, I think of that. Yeah. That's my.
I'm looking through some of the styles right now because I just realized I was like, damn, of like in the comics, I didn't even think about like which
Yeah.
how his suit's drawn
Yeah.
is also a whole different
totally.
thing to consider
Yeah.
between the artists. And I'm like,
Yeah, there's a Jim
God,
Aparo.
I love Dan Mora.
Oh yeah,
He's got a good,
I love Dan
just
Mora's
a
art
great
style.
silhouette to draw.
Yeah, well, and it's funny too. It's like you can redesign like all the toys. It's like here's submarine Batman, here's fucking tropical gorilla Batman, here's
And it kind of makes sense.
and it's like they're still cool looking.
in lore.
Yeah, and like here's Batman in Elseworlds as a knight, with the helmet, like and shit. Like they're pretty
Yeah.
cool,
You know what else is pretty cool? His villains.
Ooh,
I think
Like
my
us.
favorites honestly have to be
sick boy.
like us, gay face. No, but I say gay face because I'm gay. I like classical music.
One half of your face
What
is,
is
is Willem Dafoe. The other is your regular face.
I grew up watching the Batman, and the Batman actually has a really good rendition of Clayface where it's an entirely new character who's a detective who's tortured by the Joker, who eventually gets poisoned by one of his chemicals and slowly over like weeks turns into Clayface. It's like a very much like from what I remember, a psychological kind of like thriller, because he's a detective trying to keep it straight, trying to play cool with Batman as well. And I always thought that like character development was really good. The way he struggled with like just being crazy and
his
also
humanity.
trying to find his humanity. Yeah, it was really good. And from there, I think that's what really made him one of my favorite villains. That, and I went to like I ended up going to school for theater, not because of Clayface, but I ended up I ended
all
up
the Clayface.
This is
I
for
ended
you.
up remembering
Picture.
I ended up remembering like, oh yeah, shit, he was an actor. Like his whole thing was that he was like a failed actor that I guess became a criminal, became
I am
psychotic.
Clayface.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's me.
I am
I'm
the
a
Clayface.
criminal.
It's funny. I thought you were trying to do Two-Face this whole time. I didn't realize it was Clay Gay.
Oh yeah, there's a couple other faces. Gay, Clay, yeah,
One
it
Face. The titular One Face.
rhymes. Yeah, another villain is Man-Bat. I think Man-Bat's pretty cool. It's
Pretty cool.
literally his creature villain. His like lizard. The lizard.
Kind of, yeah.
Man-Bat's cool. It's a nice change of pace. There's also whatchamacallit, Scarecrow. I do like
Yeah.
Scarecrow. I like the whole fear manipulation.
He was the
And
one I was
he's got
gonna
some
say,
killer
yeah.
costumes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can't say him.
Okay.
And I think, you got let's see, Clayface, Man-Bat, Scarecrow, Mad Hatter. I think Mad Hatter is very interesting. Very much like a psycho obsessed with Alice in Wonderland. I think it's a good way to use like a public domain character and turn it into a villain.
Yeah. Fits the gothic
I think that's very
theme,
interesting.
too, I feel, pretty well.
Yeah, very much of the era. Mr. Freeze is a classic. But what about you guys? What about you guys?
I think
Just gonna list them
Poison
out.
Ivy has always
Oh, yeah.
been a big one for me.
Yeah, same.
Mainly, again, the Schumacher Batman movies. But
Not the same for me there, though. But, yeah.
well,
No, I respect it.
that's where I first learned about the character.
Same.
So, but I think just in terms of like very fun villains who I think are very interesting. One of the few people in the Batman Rogues Gallery with powers is like very interesting to me, honestly. Who is like, is she like officially a metahuman?
Oh, Poison Ivy?
Like by categorization.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she's like
powers.
almost god tier, I think.
Yeah, she's
like, yeah,
sometimes she's part of the green, which is like a force of the whole world of
nature,
like, of plants and
what's
stuff.
his face?
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. Yeah.
Swamp Thing.
Swamp Thing. But yeah, that was a big one for me. And Riddler. And I really like Riddler. I think I've just genuinely have enjoyed every version of the Riddler like I've ever seen. Like I like watching the old Batman show Riddler episodes. Those are very fun.
Yeah.
I couldn't help but love Jim Carrey's Riddler,
aka the Joker.
AKA the Joker, but like it still was fantastic. And like I felt like it still was interesting because the last time I think before that, the last time they had the Joker was Nicholson's Joker, right?
No.
Before
we saw Jim Carrey Riddler.
Wait, sorry. What was the?
In movies.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, so it was the '60s, like Adam West Batman, where the Riddler existed.
Yeah.
And then Tim Burton, and then the Joel Schumacher movies, which brought in
Joker and
Jim
Two-Face.
Carrey. Not Joker. Oh yeah, Jokler.
Joker.
Yeah. That's just what I was saying. I was trying to get the timeline right.
Oh, gotcha.
Did Jack Nicholson as the Joker come out before Jim Carrey played the Riddler?
Yeah.
Okay. Because that was a big thing like for me. Because again, up to that point, because it was like via the movies that I knew these characters.
Yeah.
I always had Jack Nicholson's Joker in my mind. So when Jim Carrey did the Riddler, I never made that connection because because the Joker I saw was very different from that. Jack Nicholson's Joker was a very specific like
type of Joker.
Playing of Joker. Yeah, it was like this very like smooth, methodical,
more gangster,
gangstery Joker. Whereas they made the Riddler in the Schumacher films just an absolute insane, bonkers, like literally brain got electrocuted, madman, like
somebody smoking.
Yeah, somebody smoke a riddle.
My favorite thing about that movie is it's the third one. They called it Forever.
Yeah,
and then the next one
is Forever.
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, where Robin has already been introduced like prior.
Introduced. Yeah,
it's such a
should have been Batman, Robin, and Batgirl.
Yeah,
That's what they should have called that movie.
Basically,
they should have had commas in there like Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy.
Yeah, let's throw in Poison Ivy, Mr. Freeze, Bane in there too while we're at it. And Woodrow.
That's it. No,
Jason Woodrow.
They should call the new movie like they should call the new Batman movie like Batman, Nightwing, Batgirl, and Damian Wayne.
It's good for the SEO. Yeah. You just type in Nightwing and fucking all of it comes up. Perfect.
And then also honorable mention to Batman as a villain.
Nice. Runner up. Nice.
True.
Specifically, Dead Batman is Black Ring.
Oh,
Black Lantern Ring Batman.
I was like, what?
Is one of my. It's just one of my weird favorite times I've seen Batman. It's just him as a.
And it hits differently.
As a Black Lantern, and it hits differently. It's just like. I don't know. He just becomes a lot scarier.
Oh yeah.
Like,
I mean, I would say when Batman's like the villain, or like I think of I think it's Tower of Babel, where Ra's al Ghul uses Batman's like contingency plan for the Justice League on the Justice League, and it's like, damn, dude, you're fucking dangerous. Like, good thing you're on our side. But then in that case, he's not. So it's like, ooh, my favorite villain, I would just say, is Ventriloquist. When he's written well, he's really funny, especially when he has Sacco.
That's right. I forgot about. Wait, which one is Sacco? Yeah.
So in
Ventriloquist
in Nightfall. So Ventriloquist there's a character, the original, where it's just this guy with like a ventriloquist dummy that's very like old school 1930s mafia named Scarface, who kind of runs the thing, and like his whole thing is like, oh, you don't know if the puppet's actually alive or it's the guy that's crazy acting like the puppet's alive and beating himself up. And Sako particularly is during Nightfall, Bane's big plan is to like break everyone out of not Arkham Asylum, but the other, or I think the Asylum, and then also Blackgate, yeah. And so the ventriloquist, I forget his real name or whatever, his alias, he escapes.
Albert Wesker.
Albert Wesker, yes. He escapes Umbrella Corporation, and he doesn't have the dummy Scarface, so he puts a.
No, that is his name.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Well, nonetheless, he still escapes Umbrella, so he puts on a sock.
It ain't an Orenthal James situation here. I'm sorry. Go on.
No, you're good. And he puts a sock on his hand, and his name's Sako. And then there's a funny scene where once he finally gets the dummy Scarface back, Sako and Scarface get in an argument, and they shoot each other. So he shoots his hands. Like it's such a fucking classic
with each
scene.
other.
Yeah, because they're like, and
yeah.
Sako. It's funny because Sako is like. So the ventriloquist is like Scarface is like a dummy, so he has arms, so he has a Tommy gun. And Sako has a handgun in his hand, which is his mouth, so his talk is muffled too. It's like, it's so fucking perfect. It's such a good scene.
That's good.
want to do this, man. Trust me, you want to do this.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a character that could always be put in any kind of like Batman media.
Oh, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it'll hit.
You'll hit.
It's always going to be a minor
also,
appearance, but it's going to be a good hit.
He's one of my
Scarecrow.
favorite minor ones.
I also really like Scarecrow.
Yeah. Well, we can't talk about Scarecrow.
Alright.
Gibbledang claimed Scarecrow.
It's true. I did.
I was
already talk about Scarecrow.
peeing when that was happening, so it doesn't count for me. So
That's not true.
Scarecrow.
I like Scarecrow a lot.
My favorite
and
Scarecrow
I
story
really like the
is
Scarecrow that actually looks crazy.
My favorite Scarecrow is in Sandman.
There you
Just
go.
the two panels
true.
of him.
Where Scarecrow pretends to kill himself to
Yeah.
scare
The guards.
a fucking murderer or some shit, and the guards, yeah.
I think it was like in Harley Quinn, the Scarecrow. Just in general though, when they have Scarecrow actually look like the monster,
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
like
I love like a lot of the different renditions, and I like that since his thing is fear and hallucinations, you can really play with that a lot too, and it makes sense.
I think it'd be fun to see. I don't know. It'd be fun to see like a well done new adaptation with a nice twist to a Scarecrow again.
Yeah.
Even though they just did it in Nolan, I would still kind of want to see a new.
I personally think the best Scarecrow story is it's in the new Batman Adventures. It's one of the animated series. The entire episode, it's like Batman and Batgirl chase Scarecrow. Scarecrow knocks Batgirl off a building to her death right in front of Commissioner Gordon. Commissioner Gordon unmasks her, finds out it's his daughter, goes on a complete manhunt for Batman. And the entire episode, you think that, like, holy shit, this is like the last episode of the series. Everything's going downhill. And at the end, it's all a Scarecrow hallucination. But it's like one of the, like, it's a really heavy episode.
Yeah.
Like, it's good.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that trope, but that does sound at least interesting.
Speaking
first
of
time ever.
interesting, and speaking of animated
Of
shows.
new shows.
Yeah.
New animated shows. Batman the Caped Crusader came out, and yeah, you know, I've got some thoughts on the show, but I think that it's best to break down the characters in like a non-spoiler breakdown rather than doing like a kind of like a plot breakdown. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather talk about the characters this time. You know, we could kind of go in order from the most important, I feel,
Yeah.
or at least you know, just characters with a lot more significance. Overall, I liked the show a lot. I thought it felt like a spiritual successor to the animated show from the 90s. Sometimes the animation could be a bit flat, but overall, I like the reinventions of the characters. It kind of felt like a mix of Batman the Animated Series and The Batman. Like it had the character reinventions of The Batman, but the aesthetic of the original series. And it's a period piece, you know? So a lot of different things. I liked the cast and performances. Overall, I thought it was a really good show.
Really good show.
When it was When it was ordered on Amazon, it was ordered for a 2-season,
Oh, is it?
like
Oh,
straight
nice.
to 2 seasons.
Okay.
So it's gonna get us. It's the second season is in
Whether
production.
you like it or not,
So
it's getting the second one.
whether you like it or not, it's
gonna
coming
get
out.
a second
Gonna get it.
season. Brace yourselves.
Let's find out if we liked it or
But
not.
yeah. What are y'all thoughts?
On the whole show?
I think. I mean,
Or like,
as a
just did you
whole-
like it? You know.
Yeah, I mean, as a whole, I thought it it was really creative. I thought that, it was interesting to get. Also, it gave this like vibe of, I don't know, of like, because we saw so many origins of villains, of him like meeting them for the first time. That it was very like early on.
Mm-hmm.
Batman.
It's supposed to be his
very
second-
early.
It's supposed to start on his second week. I think there is a very clear like passage of time. Like I think it has to take place over weeks for sure.
Oh,
Yeah,
But they said that the it starts at his second week.
yeah. I
Which
think
you
that's
feel.
also very interesting. Is that you feel that he is figuring it out right now, and kind of like the Batman, the new Robert Pattinson movie. He's still just like a ball of rage and
That's
repressed issues.
I'll get into. Yeah, I want to get into
Yeah.
that too. Yeah.
But because of that, I think it was really interesting how, I think it was just a really nice take of an early Batman, and that's also like kind of symbolized by placing it early in a more period setting, and then not letting. And it was nice that they didn't let that hold them back in how they redesigned characters too.
No, yeah.
How they tried to keep characters, how villains fresh and change them up a little bit. They didn't let the period piece, like they took what they needed from it being an older setting. And then things that they were like, some things we need to change a little bit. They just went ahead and did it. And we're just like, we're just going to all just be like, in this world, that's normal. And it all fits. And it worked. It worked really well.
Yeah.
I also appreciated that too. Yeah. Modern changes without really hyper focusing on them,
Yeah,
So kind of kept true.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I like that it's like, feels like it's a bit more mature for like, it's like grown up a little, some of the topics and some of the way that they handled it. I'm trying to think of anything particular. I just remember, I will say I was also doing some chores during some episodes just to make sure I finish it in time. But like I remember watching and just being like, oh man, I'm surprised they have lesbians in the show essentially. Like, and it's funny because it's funny because I was thinking, I was like, oh, that's funny. Both characters, like they're both in comics lesbian characters, but they don't date each other. But then they just got the two and made them. So it's not like they, not gender swap, but like sexuality swap. I guess any of the characters, they just like different characters
it's
now.
not actually a big change.
Yeah,
for the
they're just
characters
dating someone
themselves.
else or trying to at least. So I like that. I did like the it's like not too serialized. Like, that's the thing. One of my big issues with modern day shows in general is like you have to watch a whole show like in one sitting because it's all just one big movie. Where this is like, here's 10 or whatever, 10 literally 30-minute episode or less than 30 minutes even, So it's like, oh man, like the old show. It's like, that's why it was nice. I could just throw it on and do some like laundry and stuff like in the meantime or something, I think I said like 2.
That's no, you're good.
Yeah.
Keep going.
No, you're good. Yeah, and honestly, I liked it. It's fine. I was thinking of X-Men 97 a lot with this because it's like a similar thing where they bring back an old show. I will say I think I like X-Men 97 a bit more than this revival.
It's got more to say.
I think, and
That's
I
fair.
think there's 2 big issues, or not big. There's 2 nitpicks I should say that I have with Batman animated series. That I real quick is just one's animation. I wish it was
The original animated series?
this
or
one.
the Cape Crusader?
Cape Crusader. Yeah.
Okay.
Cape Crusader. I wish the animation was a bit better at points. I mean, I don't like
Same.
I don't like 3D and
Yeah.
2D. Like I really don't like it.
Yeah. You
Like,
could notice it a lot.
It's-
Cars.
Yeah, things turn. It's like I get why, and I know this had a hard time getting released, so I can understand. There's like scenes where like there's like a shot of the ocean. It's just kind of like I don't know, it's uninteresting to look at, kind of. So I'm like, hopefully better animation. And I will say voice acting.
Season
The
2.
art was kind of rough.
Yeah, there was one character's voice acting, which I don't know if you want me to get into now, that it, like kind of made me laugh every fucking time.
Oh my! Can
Yeah,
I
do you wanna-
wait? Can I guess it? Okay, is it Okay, is it somebody who was really only around for one
No,
episode?
no,
Harvey Dent's.
no. Yo,
That one did.
That one
Actually,
wa-
that one
that one
got
was a
me
weird
just
one, too.
because I recognized I
Uh-huh.
recognized the actor right away, and so I can only ever picture him from his other roles, and I'm like,
The Harvey Dent
yeah.
one sounded kind of off, but the one that really, and it's funny.
it's like they got a comedian to play him.
It's funny. The one for me was I think his name's Hamish Linklater, who plays Bruce Wayne Batman. His Batman, every time he would talk, it made me kind of laugh, and because I was like, this sounds like him just trying to do, like a Kevin Conroy like impersonation. It's like, do your own. Like it just made me laugh because he would talk, and I would just kind of to myself like laugh and like mimic it. But I liked his Bruce Wayne. I thought his Bruce Wayne was fine. I just wish his Batman he wasn't
I
trying to sound like Kevin Conroy to me. I don't know. That's why I was Nick Pitts.
funny enough,
I didn't hear it too
because
much.
because it shows because this is like it's early in his Batmaning.
Yeah. Oh, you were like
In my
Yeah.
mind, like he's still kind of very edgy teenager, like in his mind, like mentally,
Mhm.
and so
like, trying to
like
test
that
it
kind
out.
of like it kind of read a little bit where like it's almost like he's not like trying to do a voice. It's just genuinely he's a moody asshole right now,
Fair.
and so like that's like his voice
Yeah.
when he just is in private.
Fair,
in
fair.
general.
I think we should start getting into the characters because that's something I actually do want to get into. I think this is a really stunted, trauma-ridden, asshole version of Batman, and I like it. You know, I obviously am always ready for like new interpretations, especially when it explores his trauma.
Yeah.
And he's just very short with people. He doesn't know how to interact with people properly. Even Alfred, he doesn't even call him by his first name. He's always referring to him as Pennyworth.
Yeah.
Pennyworth. Yeah.
I
was
think
that took me so off.
Yeah.
Like,
The first time
off
you hear it,
guard
I'm like,
on
Get me
episode
caught.
one.
Yeah.
I like
Coffee's
at first
getting
I was
cold.
like, yep. I was like, at first I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this Batman, and then
I'm
it was like,
scared.
then it slowly like it made sense
Yeah.
because they
that's
were like
the
leaning
point.
into
Yeah.
it.
You know, he doesn't want to think about his trauma. I think it's very interesting. I think that they're probably taking that 1930s like, oh, there's nothing wrong with me.
approach.
I'm just gonna keep going on. Yeah. I also feel like this might be one of the youngest versions of Batman that we've seen. I think for me, I feel like he's in his 20s. He's got that kind of like, just he's still a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, the biggest like giveaway line for me that was like I felt like made it very clear how they're characterizing him was one that I want to turn into a reaction gif, which is just Pennyworth going, "How is therapy, Master Bruce?" And he goes, "Pointless. Doctor thinks she can get into my head."
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
That's so fucking.
That's good.
And like I just want to I want to just put that on Twitter and just like be like,
Yeah.
it's like that. Why don't you go see a therapist? It's
Pointless.
Like me. Pointless. Doctor thinks she could get in my head.
So good.
But I like him. I think clearly they're playing with the whole trauma thing, and they're going to show that he's going to probably get a bat family at some point and
Yeah.
be nice to Alfred.
Yeah.
What about you, Dala? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, otherwise, I liked it. Actually, I think one of my favorite things about this series, too, is I felt more invested, and I felt like there was more time on the other characters. It reminds me a lot of Gotham Central, which I
That's
love.
the thing, yeah.
So that's why when Batman was
I
on,
noticed that too.
when Batman was on screen, it was like he's just there to solve like a problem or to do his thing, you know. He wasn't really
Ancillary character, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a couple episodes where we follow Bruce Wayne, you know, but and you know, a couple shots of Batman. But I like that it's like we're focusing on Barbara and Renee, all the others, you know. Yeah,
Honestly, the first 3 episodes, which I feel like people would probably be upset about, or at least like dumbasses would be upset about, be like, oh, the show's woke and fucking it's all
Yeah.
about women. But the first 3 episodes do have like women as primary antagonists and Batman kind of as the secondary antagonist or
protagonist?
or
Okay.
I said antagonist. Yeah,
I mean-
I meant protagonist.
yeah. I think in the first episode there is a woman antagonist though, so you're not wrong there.
Which is true.
You're not wrong that people would be mad at.
Yeah. Any other thoughts about Batman?
Batman specifically,
Yeah, no,
like him in the show. Yeah, only other thing is I do he there's one specific scene that also, like, we were talking about his trauma and what really speaks to, like, how they're really leaning in on, like, the trauma from that event. And it's that scene of him coming to Alfred while Alfred is sleeping as a child. That was legitimately, like, I thought that was so great.
Yeah,
I don't want to say too much,
that.
but just that was just in the moment where I was just like, "Oh, he's
he's fucked up."
like
yeah,
no, like
he's fucked up.
Actually fucked in the head.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's rich, and that's good.
Yeah.
And what do rich people who are fucked in the head do? Spend their money in crazy ways.
But, you know, let's talk about the secondary supporting characters. You know, you got the Gordons, you got Renee Montoya,
Bullock,
and Alfred.
Just the good guys.
Well, I'll lump them in with the villains when we
gotcha.
talk about the villains. But, you know, Barbara Gordon, she is a defense attorney. That's new.
Yeah.
You don't really get much of Commissioner Gordon, which is okay, I guess. You know, I don't know. It's okay.
It's a lot of Barbara.
Yeah.
Every Commissioner Gordon
He feels
story
like
we've already got it.
He feels like a good dad in this, like a real big
True.
like dad in this one more so than the others.
Like a dad, yeah.
And they still gave him like a center episode where it like literally was all about like him being in danger.
Yeah.
So like that's still like, I feel like, you know,
we have a cast of
And,
characters.
you know,
You gotta
so
feature them all.
Barbara Gordon, I feel like takes his place as the
Kinda.
Gordon, and she's great. You know, she's very much like what is it, anti-recidivism, and like, you know, trying to keep people from going to jail, and she's great, very well written in the show.
Yeah.
She works a lot with like the police force, obviously.
and it's interesting that there's a tension between her and her dad at all times, where she because she's a public defender and he's a police officer, and like
Yeah,
his whole job is sending people to prison,
Yeah.
and her whole job is keeping innocent people out of prison.
Oh, sorry, go on.
I was just gonna say, like, it's a really great dynamic that like gets to be played on
that's why
in
they
the
did
show.
that too.
Yeah, because even I like that at points Barbara argues like, look, these people are like not products of their environment, but they're victims too. You know what I mean? And that's something that's usually overlooked. That, you know, the things that push these people into these kinds of situations. But Barbara, you know, yeah, I like their dynamic. You know, the father-daughter butting heads. You know. Another person on the police force is Renee Montoya. I thought she was great too.
Oh yeah.
The aforementioned lesbian.
One of.
I was gonna say they did a really good job of, in terms of character design, making all of the like main female characters have very distinctive silhouettes
Yeah, yeah.
and designs, because that's often honestly a huge issue in cartoons and comics and stuff, is where like you'll have all these different like body types and people when it comes to the male characters, and then the women will all just look almost exactly the same, just with different hairstyles. And
Yeah.
it's like this one, I thought it was really nice that like every character across the board was just incredibly unique.
Yeah.
Like they made everyone very unique.
You know, I like that she gets a romance with, well, I guess this is a spoiler, which I don't know. Spoiler alert. She gets a romance with Harleen Quinzel, and I think it's cute, and I think it's really earnest, and we'll talk about Harleen later, but it ends in a trope that honestly I love. It's the whole, hey, meet me someplace, I'll meet you there, and I'll go and I'll pick you up at 8 o'clock sharp. And then the person goes, and the other person gets caught up in some shit and never shows up.
Never shows up.
It's a tragic ending, and like it's one of my favorite cliches, honestly. And poor Renee Montoya, she gets she gets
cold
that
end of that
ending.
deal.
Yeah.
It's a cold end. Yeah.
I will say though, I really enjoy that Harleen Quinzel is like an active character in like
The first
of
half.
the show.
The
Yeah.
first
Like
half.
the entire first
Yeah.
half of the show, she is an active character as a psychiatrist,
It's fun.
which I thought was very
Supporting
interesting.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get to her.
Okay.
We'll get to her.
Remind, I have something to say about that.
Yeah.
Which is funny. But yeah.
Okay, and to kind of wrap up the civilians, I want to talk about Harvey Dent.
Mm-hmm.
How do you guys feel about Harvey Dent? You know,
I thought it was an interesting take to make him completely unlikable.
I thought so too.
Like, I was like,
I was fine with
this is
it.
new.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I always imagined him, like, that was this whole point, was that he was very likable, is that he was the good guy,
Yeah.
like, before he, like, went crazy.
I like...
But then this guy, it's like, they were like, no, we're going to sprinkle in that he has, like, he has obsessive winning tendencies,
Ties
and
with
he
the
is
mob.
very self-obsessed. And has, like, we're going to sprinkle it in early so that when
was
he
reverse.
flips, it makes perfect
Yeah.
sense. And it's
If-
like, it helped.
I like that it feels like it's kind of... I feel like it's very real to, like, real life, where it's like, you see, especially in, like, the 30s, they were probably like, oh, these guys are nice, these politicians, and then it's like, behind the scenes, it's like, you know, it's, they really fucking all have connections with the mob, you know? Like, it's, they're all kind of getting their money
So-
somewhere or something, you know?
And he actually has the split personality.
Yeah.
He actually has, like, the literally, like, I can't control him. Like, you
Although
have to
I
run
fe-
before he hurts others.
I feel like that should have been shown a little bit earlier than it actually is, like, introduced, but we'll talk about that when we get into Two-Face, obviously. But whatchamacallit, so I actually, funny enough, I actually liked, I thought that, I think his name's Diedrich Baker, or, what is it, D-Bad?
The comedian who played him.
Yeah. I really liked his portrayal of Harvey Dent. I felt like there was like you could hear the sleaziness in his voice, and it did feel very like serial and like 1930s to 40s kind of esque. And I liked it. You know, I liked his performance. You know, I thought he was unlikable for sure, and then slowly became likable and almost even justifiable at some points. But, you know, a fun piece of trivia before we get into the villains. He previously voiced Batman in Batman the Brave and the Bold, and he was previously in Napoleon Dynamite as Rex Kwon Do.
Yeah.
Which is one of my favorite bits of, like, oh, that's so good. So good.
Oh, yeah. I remember him from Drew Carey show. Fun fact.
Yeah.
That's
That's where I
right.
knew him
He
from.
was
That's
one of the
right.
best friends in the
He was the
show.
Kramer.
Yeah.
He was Kramer. He played Kramer in
Kramer.
that show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He basically
Drew!
Carrie Kramer.
did. Yeah.
The original actor
And
got
Drew
canceled.
and
so...
Drew Carey.
Mhm.
Drew Carey was whatchamacallit.
Two-Face?
It was as if Costanza was playing Jerry Seinfeld. You know what I mean?
Kind of,
Yeah.
honestly, a little bit.
Yeah, fair.
Only it was like very, I don't know. He always felt yeah, it was very Midwestern
Yeah.
because
I was, he's,
it's very Ohio.
I was gonna say he was, yeah. But yeah, not to fucking get into
true.
Drew Carey talk.
Welcome back to
Yeah.
the Drew Carey episode.
Hi,
All
welcome
right,
to the
so
Drew
Jim
Carey
Carrey's
podcast.
cousin.
Yeah.
everybody knows DC stands for Drew Carey.
Of course.
so-
Perfect. Fun fact, Dave Mustaine did a guest spot on Drew Carey show when he played guitar when they were auditioning for a
So my
band.
favorite Batman's the Drew Carey one.
Ooh,
I like Ryan
yeah.
Stiles personally, but you know.
Mine's the Jim Carrey one.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, I'm gonna see if there is a picture of him dressed as Batman for some reason.
Sure. Should we pause?
Okay, let's go ahead and stop. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah, and then Diedrich Bader is Robin.
want to stop at the same time?
What?
Alright.
That's
Wait, is there
awesome.
really? Send it in the group chat.
Okay.
I'm curious to see.
Yeah.
It's not a, or sorry, I was incorrect. It's not Drew as it's his two friends as Batman and Robin. And so it has Diedrich Bader as Robin. Here you go.
All right. You know, took a nice little heroic break there after talking about all the protagonists and good guys in Batman Caped Crusader. How are you feeling? How are y'all
Should we get
feeling?
into our weeks?
Feeling
Yeah,
good?
my week. It's
Yeah, let's get back into our
Sick,
weeks.
sick boys.
Alright.
Still sick.
Yeah, we took a week long.
Let's rewind.
Yeah. Now let's get into the villains. You know,
Yes, the Cape Crusader
hero.
villains.
Just a little origin about the word villain. You know, when you think about it, it was first created when it was a doctor said to his friend, "You're very ill, Ian."
To his friend Ian,
And just he kept saying that, and to his
Yeah.
friend Ian. Well, yes, no, not to his friend Chris. That would be
Yeah.
weird. But he's like, God, I got it. There's got to be a easier way to say this.
oh, you're a villain.
You're
It
a
started
villain.
off as a nickname for one person that grew to mean something completely different.
Very ill,
Yeah.
Ian.
Yeah,
So-
very ill Ian. And he was told he was ill so much that he developed a hatred for doctors, and he started killing people and killing doctors, and he became a true villain. Because
Yeah.
then
So
they
let's-
referred to him as Vile Ian.
I think-
Yeah,
Funny-
let's.
shortened. to
Funny enough, though, I
villain.
think it all stemmed from his mom, Anne, who she once tagged a nest. It's pretty I think that trauma alone set him on that path.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
antagonist.
she once
yeah,
tagged a nest
yeah,
that in front of him.
Yeah.
And, got bad.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Antagonist.
That was the
Much
moment
like
when
Batman.
he
Now-
turned bad for good.
Much like Batman.
So let's talk about the show's very ill Ians. I guess starting with the very first episode, we got Penguina.
Charlie.
Penguinina?
Penguin Zero.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
Penguin Zero. Penguinina.
Yeah.
You know, how do we feel about her? I loved her personally. I love that she
I like
Yeah.
it.
used everyone's like the fact that they overlooked her because she was a woman. You know, to like they just didn't notice anything that she was
Yeah.
doing just
I
because they didn't
also-
think she was capable
Yeah.
enough.
Yeah, I also like that her whole like top hat and cane shtick. Like she does it because that's her main gimmick as a burlesque
Yeah.
performer.
Which is
And
Or
I thought that
cabaret,
was
yeah.
or cabaret, yeah. And I was like, that was pretty cool.
I was gonna say, yeah, no, it's funny because like when I saw her at first, I was like, oh, like that must be just like the Penguin's like entertainment is dressed like him, you know, because I didn't know there was a gender swap. And then like later, it's it's actually that is the Penguin. I was like, oh, that's cool.
It's Penguinina.
Oswalda.
Yeah. Oswalda.
Yeah.
I don't like her name
Oswalda?
though. Oswalda.
Yeah,
Yeah, I figured
Yeah.
they should have just given her a new
I'm
name.
fine with it. I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
really care for the name Oswald already.
'Cause, like,
so. Yeah.
When I think of Oswalda, I think of like a Latina with like Sharpie eyebrows. You know what I
Sure.
mean?
Yeah, but it's the 30s, so they don't have Sharpies yet.
But that's just me.
They don't have
That's just
Sharpies.
me.
It wasn't invented yet. She actually
Sharpies,
invents it
yeah, they
in
don't have
season
Sharpies.
2, funny enough.
Wanda
goes,
called it
"Wah."
that.
She's like, "Wow, I need a Sharpie,
My
fool.
eyebrows
Come here.
wrong.
Wah.
They're fucking not. They're
Wah.
not.
It's me, Penguinina.
They're
Wah."
not 70-degree angles.
Nice.
Here's my version. I would like that eyebrow pencil,
Yeah.
please.
one eyebrow pencil, please.
Thank you.
No, yeah.
That's mine. That's
I
my
thought
version.
like overall though, yeah, like I liked how fucked up she is. I feel like she. I mean, I don't know. I guess without spoilers, yeah. She's a fucked up like trying to become like head honcho of the of crime, I guess, in Gotham. It's not too different from like regular Penguin outside of just gender swap and has kids now. So it's like, but it's cool. It's a
Yeah,
good
it's like-
rendition.
Do you want to see the same thing over and over
Yeah.
again? You know, like you could get the same elements of Penguin and just have it be something new. And there's a lot of characters like
Mm-hmm.
that throughout this. Who's the second villain? Oh, my personal favorite, Clayface.
Clayface.
Holy
this was a
moly.
good one.
Yeah.
This was a good
Really
one.
good episode. A nice horror
You know-
whodunit thriller.
Mhm. One thing I loved in the credit. So the first episode, I saw the credits of like producers, and it's pretty stacked cast. But the one that threw me off, I didn't expect to see, was Ed Brubaker. I love Ed Brubaker's
yeah.
stuff. He's really good at crime and mystery and stuff. And I was always like, I wonder if he wrote for any of. I didn't check to
yeah.
see if he was writing it, but like,
Oh,
it's such a
Bebe
good- yeah.
Bebe Jabrams was the surprising executive producer for me.
Yeah.
And Matt
Yeah.
Reeves. Bebe J. Abrams and Matt
And then-
Reeves. It's
yeah.
pretty stacked. And Ed
Yeah.
Brubaker.
Yeah, it was like a fat stat. Like, yeah. But yeah, Clayface.
But we're not talking about the writers. We're talking about
that's
Clayface.
why I just bring that up because I think
And,
I wonder if Brubaker wrote because such a good mystery crime guy, and I was like, oh, that was such a good like noir crime.
That was his episode.
like mystery.
Basil
Clayface
Carlo,
was-
my favorite
yeah.
Clayface, based off 1930s actors Basil Rathbone and Boris Karloff. Both of them were in like the Castle of Frankenstein or like the Castle of Dracula or like one of the classic 1930s. There's a lot of like 1930s, 40s, like Easter eggs just to like cinema in general in this episode. It was really cool, really good episode. But I love Clayface. I love that they basically, and it's not really a spoiler in this, but he is an actor, and
Jeez. I'm just kidding.
it's, I don't know if they've done this one yet. I feel like it's a mix of his like shape-shifting abilities and his OG, like he's just kind of like a slasher villain
Yeah.
where he's a murderer, but he could still like transform his face. You know what I mean?
Literal.
But it like doesn't
bef-
last. It's always temporary.
Yeah, literally just his face.
Yeah, because
or like head probably.
yeah, just his face. You know what I mean? Where like the other comics or like even the animated series, it's been like, okay, now he's a full on like metahuman that could like shapeshift. He's a full on shapeshifter. But in this, it's just his face, and then he has to actually act and you know change his voice and stuff.
Yeah.
So I like that. I feel like that's new but still familiar, and his design is badass. I love it.
Yep. And I liked
really
even
fucked
down
up.
to his design when he's in his neutral like Clayface form, the like little bandit getup he has on, very much an homage to like those
The shadow.
The talkies.
Yeah, like the shadow, like the talkies. It was very cool, and I liked how a bit of a spoiler, but like when he snaps and he tries to like kill people, he does so by like making scenes, like
Recreating
creating
his
scenes, like
movie scenes. Yeah.
and it was cool because it's cool that like he was an actor who always had to play the villains because of what he looked like. And all he ever
And what
wanted
he
was to be the leading man.
His design in the show is basically Boris Karloff, Frankenstein,
Yep.
which I loved because it was like, oh yeah, it looks just like him. My favorite line from him is what was it? I found villain was the part I was born to play. I'm like, oh, you're hamming it up. That's good.
It was funny
cheesy.
when I forget who it was, but it was on the pendulum table, and I think whoever was saving him, I forget the details, but I think they got her like arms, and I was like, okay, you've probably got enough of her. You can just fold her and like
You can
move her out of the way.
Yeah.
It's like it's part of the drama.
It was the 30s. They didn't think of that stuff
Yeah.
back then. Yeah.
People couldn't bend yet that way, but it was funny.
All right, next
Had been
episode.
invented.
Next character, central focus, Catwoman. I loved this episode. I love Catwoman.
I
She's-
love brat nepo baby Catwoman.
Rat Nepo baby Catwoman. What if Batman grew up happy?
But also kleptomania.
She has her own maid. She
Yeah.
treats like shit. Yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun seeing her just like not learn a lesson,
Yeah.
learning all of the wrong lessons throughout the episode. She was just it's Christina Ricci having a lot of fun.
Very interesting design, like reminiscent of her like OG stuff, like the.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. It was interesting to have like the slitted dress look rather
like
than
the tight suits
another
that we're used to and stuff.
catsuit.
The nightgown. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's like more reminiscent of her earlier days. Yeah, no, I liked her a lot. I liked this episode a lot. It was fun. It's a good one.
Mm-hmm. I liked her chemistry. You know,
Yeah.
it's like not much to say because it's like kind of like she was a delight.
Yeah, just charismatic, but also like
was-
just like not a what's the word?
A jackass.
No, like I just like a nepo baby, like kind of. I'm trying to think of the word for it, but you know,
She's
spoiled. Yeah,
spoiled.
she's a spoiled.
She was spoiled. She was a spoiled
charismatic
brat.
She's
Yeah.
spoiled.
That-
like
It's like fucking.
There's a point.
Yeah.
Spoilers. At the end of the episode where she tries to get bailed out, so she calls her
Yeah.
maid, and she's like, "Hey, I need your help." And she's like, "No, I sold all your shit like for all the money you owed
joking.
me. Like,
Yeah,
bye."
you owe me 3 years
And
of
then-
back pay.
And then Selena Kyle hangs up the phone and looks at the cop next to her and goes, "What a crook."
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
like,
that's
you
the other thing. This show
fucking
is it's pretty funny. It's got a lot of like genuinely funny lines like per episode.
good.
Yeah. It was. I also liked this was the episode where Bruce had to start seeing Harleen Quinzel in therapy because he offered his mother's gems and other jewelry as an exhibit for the museum, for his temporary exhibit, and heard that photographer like talking crap about his mom and basically victim shaming, victim blaming her. And so he punched him, and it was like that was, and those I'm so happy it started because those therapy scenes are some of the most interesting to me, and the Harleen's ability to immediately see through,
Just
Bruce
suss
Wayne.
it out.
Like,
yeah.
like she's like, no, this is all an act.
I love Harleen.
Same.
I love Harleen. She's not really talking about her in the first half, which we should have. Really great psychiatrist. Really good therapist, I guess. She was like, keeping in mind that Batman has all of this trauma. Once he goes to therapy, the fact that she's immediately calling out like, "Whoa, some fucked up shit happened in your childhood that you do not want to fucking take care of." Like, and Bruce Wayne is like, "No." Anyways, like it's good. It's good. Very
And
good.
it's funny
very
because
well written.
because like the whole story, like Bruce Wayne's parents dying when he was a child, like is public knowledge.
Oh, yeah.
And so like she's like obviously you have to have a reaction to this. You just have to
Have some
have
effect,
affected
yeah.
you somehow. And because he's so insistent on playing the character of Bruce Wayne and having nobody like see through the facade, he is being incredibly fake. And so
He's such a fake piece of shit. Speaking of the Penguina Nina episode, there's a point where Bruce Wayne falls, Bruce Wayne has to swim underwater, and he hops up and he sees Barbara Gordon, and is just like, "Oh, it's not a party until someone falls overboard," and she looks at him like, "Okay, whatever." And then Bruce turns to like the two women right next to him, and he's like, "Oh, it's not a party until someone falls overboard."
Yep.
And they eat that shit up.
Yeah.
It's so funny too because
Another funny moment.
they basically imply that was one of the moments that made Barbara Gordon like basically instantly figure out that he was Batman.
Well, I don't know if that's I don't know. I don't think they really hint at that later.
Oh, I felt I don't know.
I could see that.
When she
didn't
talked
see
about
it.
how she met Batman and he has a nice car and like
I could
I
see
don't
like
know.
suspicions.
It felt like it
yeah.
hit to
I
me.
could feel like she was getting suspicious of him, maybe, or something. Or I could see that.
But, now we're talking about Firebug, who I guess is
ooh, yeah.
the weakest / maybe most sympathetic, I guess, because he is the one that
straight
is just
victim.
like mentally
Yeah.
unwell. He was pulled out of Arkham Asylum by Harvey and Flask, who are two crooked cops, very shitty cops on the like mafia payroll. I think Penguin's payroll as well. They pull this villain out to basically draw the Batman out.
Yep.
And in doing so, they cause like a couple apartments to burn down. Like it's
Like a
it's
whole building. Like
yeah, like I don't know. Firebug's it was the weakest, but like I felt bad for him. But there wasn't much to say. It was kind of a mid episode, I guess.
Yeah, the episode wasn't really about him. It was really more just about the cops trying to up the antics to bring out the Batman.
It's a good episode.
Yeah.
And about how the cops are targeting Batman now. And so he was more like a means to an end for the story to like keep moving
Yeah.
forward.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was an episode that was
Exactly.
definitely like, okay, here's the like not human, but the police and like Barbara like storyline kind of focus. Because Batman, I think in that one too,
Yeah.
is like he's just in the background. I don't remember if he shows up at all in that episode outside of like getting Firebug.
He does show
it's
it.
so funny.
He's the one. He shows up at the end. Yeah, you're right.
It's funny because he does. It's like as they keep upping the antics and doing all the stuff, he keeps showing up just to like peek over a rooftop and like look at. He sees someone getting mugged, but then he looks and he sees the squad cars, like the undercover cops, and he's like, and then you just see him fade
he's like,
back
oh,
away.
fucking.
And
I
it's
could
just like,
tell. Y'all narcs, right? Y'all ain't narcs, are you?
and then that moment when Montoya, when she's like, "Oh, we should have had men on the roof," and I'm like, "That's the first thing you should have figured out." I feel like that is
Yeah.
So
the guy who travels exclusively by rooftop.
Yeah.
next, no, he's got a car. He's got a car.
Mostly.
Can't
He
be
does have a
exclusive
car.
if he's got a car and a grapple hook.
To get to
Okay,
the
next
rooftops.
episode, real deal. Harley Quinn. This is one of the best episodes
Yeah,
too.
the
This is
play
my
pad.
favorite.
Holy
for sure.
shit! Like, one. I think it might be my favorite. Might be my
You're
favorite.
copying me. I said first.
Her redesign. I love her redesign. I love the orange or the
Yellow and black.
yellow and green,
Or,
yellow,
yeah,
green, black, like black with green
like an
highlights.
olive, yeah.
It's so good, so good. The kind of like a motionless face. I mean, we talked about Harleen Quinzel. She's a very competent therapist. She could see through people's bullshit.
She's gay. She has
Spoil.
music.
She's gay. She likes
Also,
classical, which I think
Has
in
an
this
origin
makes sense for this
completely
time,
absent
Yeah.
of
Which is
Joker.
okay.
which is nice.
I thought
Yeah.
that was also
is
very
nice.
interesting. She is
Capable
treated,
on her
in
own.
this, she is treated as her own fully fledged rogues gallery villain
Yeah.
who is independent, has her own motives and personality and everything, and is completely separate from Joker, which I think
nice.
is like finally good to see.
Yeah.
With her. Like they've
I
developed
mean,
her
yeah.
so much that she can stand on
I mean,
her
she
own.
mostly is nowadays.
And
Even
They can make her.
one. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean,
And
she
so-
has been able to stand on her own for a long time now.
One thing-
but now it's just a new origin story that's completely removed from Joker,
Sorry.
which is nice.
One thing I really
Exactly,
this is what I've been waiting for all episode. It was just like this was like it was funny to me because I watched this on Prime and the thumbnail her costume looked black and white more so, and when Bruce started going to therapy I was like, oh god, instead of Joker is it gonna be Batman? Is the like replacement inspiration for her? Like maybe she like does through therapy finds out, and I was like, oh god, like is that what they're gonna do? But then it was like, oh no, it was I like this way better, the way she's almost more of a vigilante in her own right in this this sense.
Yeah,
That's what I was
thought
gonna
that was
say.
The other
Yeah.
interesting thing.
She is a vigilante. Like,
Kind of
she's
an
not really a
anti-hero.
villain. Yeah. She's like, I mean,
Robin
shit.
Hood type.
You could, which I guess now she is.
Yeah.
She very much is in the comic books and you
Yeah.
know in
Yeah.
media. So of course, why not just make her that, but in a different way, which I think
She's
is
the
nice.
Deadpool
She's
of the DC universe.
Robin Hood. In this, she's Robin Hood.
I just meant in general.
She's which is funny because, you know, 2 episodes prior, you see that Harleen Quinzel is very insistent on getting Bruce Wayne into her like weekly sessions, you know? And
Yeah.
then a couple episodes later, you see that she's been doing that to a lot of different millionaires. And she's basically, spoiler alert, she's stealing all of their funds, diverting them into like women's charities, different community
things
nonprofit stuff, like, and she's basically giving back to the community and like by stealing from these wealthy millionaires. You're getting me sick, Dala.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's
And
like
then also
superpower.
driving them insane to the point of killing themselves
Yeah.
afterwards.
Do they kill themselves?
like
Which one has killed?
PG-13ified probably.
I
Yeah.
don't think.
Well, the whole thing starts with a case of them finding one guy who died, and they found out that he had
Did he die?
things.
Did he get hit by a car?
not King Tut.
Not the King Tut guy.
When they're investigating what happened to King Tut, they discovered that this happened with a different billionaire who gave away all of his stuff and then killed himself. And then also later on,
okay.
there's that other guy who tries to jump off the roof.
Yeah,
And he tries to kill himself too.
it could be
So they're also like
Yeah.
kind of programmed to kill themselves afterwards.
that, or maybe
like-
they're just like, oh, I'm
It's
trying to
good.
fight this, like, you know, so they end up killing him. But either way, it doesn't end well for them.
It's yeah. She was great. She was played by Jamie Chung. She was from Sucker Punch,
Ooh, nice.
the Dragon Ball Evolution.
Nice.
Lovecraft Country, starring Jonathan Majors.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she was great. She was great. Very calculative, very cold. Not funny, but you don't need it.
No.
Don't need her to be funny. She was
Yeah.
very
She's a lot more real.
sarcastic. Yeah. Sarcastic without being like what's the word for it? Deadpan. She was very deadpan.
Mm-hmm. I wonder too because
Who's your character?
Tim Burton or not Tim Burton, was it Bruce Timm created her? I wonder if that's why she was like such a. I don't know. Maybe they put more thought into her.
Oh yeah, he
Okay.
said.
He was like, he's my.
I think
she's
he
my
said
favorite.
yeah. He said he wanted to do like reinventions. He wanted to do stories that he couldn't tell in the 90s. So it's very it's cool. It's cool.
Ooh, okay. Where's that later?
Onomatopoeia.
Oh,
Onomatopoeia.
I didn't see this
So
episode.
I was not aware of this guy's
What?
existence.
I didn't see this episode
before this.
I was busy during this one, so I missed this.
This one, well, truly,
He's a mob.
He's like not that important in the episode, to be.
No,
entirely
not at all.
honest.
Yeah.
He's a hitman. He's a hitman
Yeah,
mobster.
he's just a hitman.
Hired gun.
I mean, in the comics, I think he made one appearance
Hired to take out
or
Barbara
one
Gordon.
actual good appearance, and then everything's not been good since. I think.
And he's a Green Arrow
Oh,
villain.
is he? That's funny.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not even Batman villain.
I mean, good on them for picking like the weirder, like someone new.
But he has
It
no
was so funny.
he has no origin story. He's just a fairly strong guy who might be like not like he might be invincible, but he just survives everything. And he's really fast and like he's got like really good reflexes. He's in this episode he's basically on par with Batman. And his whole thing is that if he's gonna shoot somebody, he points his finger and goes bang, and then someone else shoots him, or I don't know. Like he'll go when he throws a punch, he goes bang, pop, you know, onomatopoeias.
Yeah, he just only speaks in onomatopoeias. When he was tracking the car by the motor oil drops, he
love
just
that.
looks at them and goes blip, drip, blip, blip,
Nice.
Blip.
blip, blip,
Blip.
blip.
And he goes ding. So good.
I don't. It's so funny because it's like he's obviously just crazy, honestly, and I think that's like. It's just like all Batman villains. Like the reason why they're strong or like impressive is usually because they're insane. And
And he's got like 10 guys following him that are just like, yeah, this is the boss.
yeah, and this they basically
It's so good.
make him like they imply that he is the leader of this like organization of hitmen, where basically they call in the
hire some-
entire organization, and it's like kind of crazy. I was like.
It was,
Especially when they
it's-
do when they do the reveal at the end of who ordered the hit. All I was thinking, I was just like, "Damn, that's a lot of pull to have from in prison."
and just be some guy.
You're
that
just some
didn't
dude
get
who
off.
worked for a mob boss. How did you get these guys? How did you have enough money to afford like the best hitman association in the world? Like,
But he was fun, very silly, very silly.
Nice.
But is he as silly as Gentleman Ghost? How about that?
no,
Yeah, probably not.
still not
no.
as silly as Gentleman Ghost. And I
Who is
love
an
how
actual
Gentleman
ghost.
is in this, and he is in this, and Harley Quinn is in this as polar opposites.
Exactly. I was
they-
just about to say Robin Hood and reverse Robin Hood.
The reverse Robin Hood.
Literally.
Hobbit
I wish
Hood.
so. During that episode, this episode, I was making like so many jokes. I fucking wish I wrote them down.
It was funny.
But I'm sorry, I was just like,
It was a silly
Yeah.
episode. Oh no, you're good. It was a silly episode. I didn't expect it to be an actual ghost. I thought it was gonna somehow be a guy
Yeah.
that was using projection and
I thought so too.
some kind of alchemy, but no, it's a ghost. And they have to go to Papa Midnight, which I thought was
Yeah.
cool. Makes me wonder if we're gonna see like a 1930s Constantine.
so I was
or
wondering.
anything.
I thought it was gonna be Jason Blood, honestly, when he went, and then he's like, oh, it's Papa Midnight. I was like, oh shit,
Ooh.
like that's cool. Someone new, different, or like not new, but you know what I mean, new for Batman.
It
I
is,
do
yeah.
love that they're immediately like, we're rebooting Batman, and in this
It
one,
was-
ghosts
yeah.
are real. I was like, fuck.
Honestly,
yeah.
like
And vampires. we're
pepper it
going
in
to- we'll
slightly,
get to
you
that.
know, like start off like mostly serious, and then eventually, I'm sure if this gets to like season 3 or 4, it'll be like completely crazy.
Well, what I like is that each episode kind of felt like a different like film from the 30s, you know what I mean? Like a different kind of serialized like you got your crime caper, you got like a horror movie, you've got like the Count of Monte Cristo almost. It's,
psychological thriller.
Yeah,
like-
I liked it.
This was the
But who is
spooky
it? Gentleman
one.
Ghost, you know, I know this is a spooky, fun ghost story. He's a 18th century or like Englishman from the 1800s that basically, what was it? He had his land. Why did he want to steal money from the poor? Is it because he didn't like that the rich were being taxed? Because he was like, he basically had
think
that.
he was.
They literally explained that he was born to inherited wealth, and literally just because of that, he grew up believing that wealthy people were a higher ruling class of people that were supposed to control society. And he believed that poor people deserved to stay poor and give their money to like the rich rulers. And he like there wasn't like a specific event they referenced. They literally just said because of how he was raised and what in his background, he's just an
I was gonna say, and I think wasn't he like?
But he's so much of an asshole that he refused to ever sell his land and keep it at all times. And
Then he turned into smoke.
Yeah.
He was such an
I was
asshole.
gonna
He
say,
turned into smoke.
he's
At the end.
such an asshole. He went poof.
Maybe I'm wrong, but like at the ending too, I felt like it was very much like he was a plantation owner with like slaves. I mean, and then because
seem
he has
that way.
Papa Minute has an interaction with the ghost in the sense to me at least where it was like, oh, this fucker, yeah, I'll take the ghost, you know, like it kind of indicating like
I do love that the ghost at the end was like,
yeah
"Don't
with
leave me
yeah.
again."
Oh no, he's gonna put me in his ass. I'm gonna put this guy in my ass. That's why they called me Papa Midnight.
Because I always could
I put things in my ass.
Okay.
All right. Speaking of midnight, you know, I think we got it with the gentleman ghost. He was kind of a dick, you know, or he was a dick.
It's a bad bloke.
He gets taken out in a mystical manner, yeah. But you know what? At the end of that episode, he manages, as Batman does a ritual to take away Gentleman Ghost's corporeal form. He turns into smoke and manages to infect Alfred and possess him. And he says some shit like, "Oh, Alfred's holding a secret that he doesn't want to tell you," and then he fucks off and dies. Not Alfred, Gentleman Ghost.
Ghost.
Yeah. Or he gets turned back into smoke and put into a vial, and then Papa Midnight puts him in his butt.
I wonder what that secret is.
I killed your parents,
Yeah.
Master Bruce. It's me. Oh no, it's,
Ringo
me,
Starr.
Master Bruce. It's me, Pennyworth.
Ringo
it's me, Ringo
Starr's-
Starr.
Pennyworth. I can't believe you did that,
I'm
Pennyworth.
fucking edgy as fuck.
And then
I'm gonna
she's
draw Shadow the Hedgehog and my Trapper Keeper and fucking
They're all
get you
good.
for this.
They're all gonna pay, and you're gonna help me.
Any more thoughts about
Gentleman Ghost.
Gentleman Ghost? GG.
Not really. It was pretty cut and dry,
Yeah.
honestly, because they made him so overtly like outright villainous.
Yeah,
Like,
I thought they would like reference the Kane
Yeah.
family, but I don't think they did. Like I thought he was gonna be part of the Kane family at one point, but then maybe they just also because he's a racist.
I think Canes were
Oh, were they?
mentioned.
Okay, because I might have missed that part.
I think maybe not in this, but I do remember
Canes?
hearing Kane and being
They're-
like, "Oh, I think it's like the Wayne's cousin."
They're like another like yeah, it's just another wealthy family. It's where Batwoman comes from, particularly is what my interests.
Yeah.
one of my interests. I see.
Hey, another lesbian,
I
another
see.
lesbian represent.
Yeah.
Fellow
So,
Just kidding.
speaking of lesbians, next is Nocturna. She's not a lesbian, but she is a little girl. She's a
Okay,
little
I
girl
was like, who
vampire.
is that? That's right. I
Um,
forgot about her. Okay,
Right.
I legit forgot about her. Wow.
Which I'm like, whatever. It's okay. She kills her brother. She's
Shit.
a little girl energy vampire that like feeds on little kids. Well, I guess she feeds on everybody, but that's basically the gist of her character. That she's an energy vampire.
But in this episode, you get introduced to all of the Robins
yeah.
at once, and
Are
at
they
first,
confirmed?
you know, they introduce.
They are? Okay,
Yeah.
they're confirmed to be all Jason.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dickie, JC, fucking
Tim?
what was it? Tim is the only one that's
Oh,
not
wait,
there.
so they have Damien?
Carrie and Damien.
Hmm.
So it's Carrie,
It's like
Sophie,
Damien's not his son.
Jace, and
Yeah.
Dick.
Unless he's...
Yeah.
I guess it could be his father.
So-
Ah.
Once they introduce one, I'm like, oh my god, are they gonna introduce
Just
another
do
one?
all of
And then
them.
they did. They introduced another one. I'm like, watch, they're gonna do
Yeah.
all of them. And then they did. And then I
Just-
was like,
yeah.
well, if Batman saved all of them in this night, then they would all probably get inspired by Batman.
Yeah.
And I'm sure from there they would all want to be like,
Can
oh
we all be
fuck,
bird people, like themed
Like,
heroes?
you know, let's all be
Let's
Batman.
all be bird
yeah.
though.
Let's all be Batman
Yeah.
together.
So
Batman, yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like a little like, oh, it's a little Easter egg reference, like haha. I didn't see it as them actually being the real,
too.
but I don't know.
No,
Yeah, I wonder how they're gonna do Robin if they do Robin. That'll be it'd be very interesting to see
Yeah.
because you imagine they'd have to they're gonna reinvent it in some way
It's a
themselves.
newsboy.
I
the
want to
peg
see, I want to see mentally unwell Bruce Wayne adopt a child. Like I want to see it happen. I want to see
Yeah.
I
the
want to see
consequences
child
of that.
abuse.
Oh gosh.
All right, who's next?
Two-Face?
Because I don't know. That's it for Nocturna, right? Like
Yeah.
I believe it's the Two-Face episode after that, right?
Two-Face, the Two-Face two-parter in classic fashion. Almost in every
Yeah.
other series, he gets a two-part.
No.
No,
Introduction.
I gotta go because I'm double parked.
I like that.
My favorite Two-Face is the one from Star Kids Holy Musical Batman. Where all of the villains in that musical just are constantly making puns. Every single line they have in the entire show is has a pun in it. And yeah, it's pretty good.
Nice.
I have not
Yeah,
seen it.
same.
Oh
Holy musical Batman.
God, it's crazy. Like how I feel like you would love it. It's so funny.
Two-Face. Harvey Two-Face. Okay, so I forgot when exactly he gets scarred, but Harvey Dent has, you know, he's an attorney just like in the comic books, but he's also running for mayor, and he's so desperate to win that he's starting to take deals from mob bosses. He ends up not following through on one of the promises he made with the mob boss and gets half of his face covered in acid and basically has a psychotic break. But it's interesting how much of like a smarmy asshole he's played in the first half of the show, and you don't really get
The good side.
bits of like of him, of his good side. Well, you do, but you get very
Like
little
the
of
audience
it.
knows.
But you also don't get bits.
Everyone.
Yeah, but you also don't get bits of his like split personality. I feel like that's my main
Concern.
thing that I don't like. Because it's just like I feel like that kind of came in last minute at the end. But
In the comic books, does he have a tendency to have a split personality before he gets acid thrown
Depends
on him?
probably on the comic.
there's
Oh,
Big Bad Harv usually his like repressed kind of like bully side that like he kind of has to keep away. That's usually what it is. Yeah.
I think
and that's like probably why he overcompensates so much by trying to be like trying to be
I
perfect.
feel like Dark Knight.
Like,
What is it? Dark Knight. Or is it just Dark Knight? The Nolan one is probably like the best iteration.
just Dark
yeah.
Knight.
I would say it's probably the most.
But the thing is,
That in the show.
I like this show I think the most, honestly, for the like Harvey's Two-Face. I think mainly for the same reason that I loved Harley Quinn, is that they're very much more like vigilantes at the end. Like this two-parter felt like at the end it felt like
Harvey Dent's like Dirty
Mm-hmm.
Harry, or Harvey Dent's just like it's his death wish. Like he's going out, he's going guns blazing, and he's getting revenge on the people that like fucked him
Yeah.
over. And I thought that was something where I was like, holy shit, like I am rooting for Harvey. Like I think he's totally justified. Like it sucks that he had this mental break and like, yeah, he killed people. I don't know. I thought that it was really, I really liked it. I just wish there was more of the like, oh, I have this split personality that I'm battling.
Yeah.
And you know, it's like maybe that could have led into like his decision making into like why he originally took the deal, and then it's like much more of a conflict when he gets revenge. Like I don't know, it's just it could have, I feel like they could have done more with that, but still he came out as one of my favorite
I think one thing
characters.
would have been cool, which maybe I don't know if they could have expanded on. I think it would be kind of realistic too, is if it's like, I'm trying to think of how, like maybe that's like Harvey has like a picture of like his family or something, and it's like, oh, when he started off he meant to, you know, had all the good intentions, but then, you know, being the DA, he found he had to like slowly become more like into the dark side, and you know, you kind of see that clash, and then yeah, like kind of just see that clash between both good and bad more. Yeah.
Because that's how they describe him. Is they basically describe him as he's somebody who cares about justice, who does care about doing the right thing, but has an ego. Like basically, like the way their version of his two sides in this is mainly the two sides between his like do-gooder side, his white knight side, and his ego surrounding like himself and literally his face too. Like there's times where you can tell he literally is very like his literal facial image he is obsessed with. And I think that's part of like, because they make him egotistical in this, it like further fuels the reason why he goes through the break when his face gets melted, because he is so obsessed with his image, quote unquote, both literally and metaphorically, that that's the thing that pushes him over the edge. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, I really liked him. Spoilers. Sucks he died. I mean, I think that's what gave more impact to like the story and like his kind of revenge quest.
It felt
especially
a lot like
since
the Dark Knight one too.
Yeah, true.
That too, yeah, that too. Especially the fact that like Barbara felt like sympathy at the end, or she was like I fucking hated this guy the whole time, but at the end they were like very much like, I mean, they were handcuffed together. I liked that, you know, like it was good. It was good. It was very, I didn't expect that from like, I didn't expect to feel that way about Two-Face. But yeah, I thought it was great.
Makes a lot of sense. I think it helped make him more easier to relate to in this one, because of the fact that when he had his break, he was going after like just mobsters, whereas like in the Dark Knight, for example, when he had his break, he was going after Gordon and Gordon's kids, and it was like, ooh, like that one was a little hard. It was a little hard to believe he went straight from pure good guy to literally murdering children. It was like,
that's because the Joker told him to joke about it a little bit, and then the Two-Face said the Two-Face.
And the Two-Face was like, I'm gonna face him twice.
Speaking of the Joker joking a bit, we get a little glimpse of the Joker at the end.
Yeah, interesting take.
Interesting, you know, it's you don't get much of him, but I'm sure he's gonna look exactly like the 1930s look. He's wearing a trench coat already. You don't get much, but you get a little bit of a voice. I don't know if the voice actor has been credited, but he's very, very, very much got a deep voice.
Yeah,
very deep.
Change it
very
up. It's nice.
A dark, like an eerie, sinister,
Like perfect. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Which
Javier
kind
Bardem.
I was like style. I think
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Like,
Yeah.
shit. Like what a fucking get.
Him, like, I was just say, like, I love the like his victims, like all laughing themselves to death. Like,
and they're like yellow, sickly yellow looking. Like, love that. I guess just before we do plugs,
Final thoughts or something.
All right, those were those were the final thoughts. Do you guys have any anything you want to say? Anything you want to see for season 2? Any villains?
Riddler. I would love
Scarecrow.
to see another. Yep, Scarecrow, and both of them being the older versions with a twist like this show's doing. That could be very interesting. I thought it'd be funny if Riddler was a game show host.
Oh, that'd be cool. Yeah.
But the 30s.
Yeah, that's the only issue. Is that
There's not really.
yeah.
This, I mean,
But
You-
I don't
Do
know.
they have TVs?
no.
Did they have?
Well, yeah,
for
they
sure
do have.
TVs?
They already have
I
television.
don't know
yeah.
though, because they have movies, but I don't know if they
Batman
have
had
TV.
television.
Do they? When was the TV?
I believe they have TV. They just
guess
it's-
they'll
yeah,
find a
there's
way.
There's like 5
That's, yeah, I was gonna say
channels,
like
you know
what's
what I mean?
playing?
They'll
What's on
find
old
a
TV?
But Scarecrow. I want to see Scarecrow in a biplane or a straight plane. It doesn't matter.
Nice.
Um,
I mean, I
Man. Poison Ivy.
honestly,
oh yeah.
I'm down for whatever. Honestly, like I don't really. I'm like, give me whatever. Like as long as it's like, you same kind of like change it up.
Oh, we got Killer Croc. I guess
Oh, yeah,
a
we did.
cameo.
Yeah.
We got a cameo of Killer Croc in the Nocturna
Yeah.
episode, and I remember
I
being
remember
like,
that.
"Hey,
It's like
nice."
just like some
Yeah, he was one of
when
the
when
carnival.
Bruce Wayne is like, I'm looking for two little girls. No, I swear, like, and then all the carnival.
Oh,
They're like, "Did you break through that
you're
fucking
like,
wall?"
what? Oh, you want to look for little
Yeah,
girls? And I was
right.
like, no. It's like, dude, really? Like that.
That was
I was
so
laughing 'cause I was
funny.
like,
It's like you broke.
just say there's two children missing, like they're lost. Their kid, or like, so
Such a-
funny.
Don't just
Such
say
a-
you're literally looking for little
Yeah.
girls,
It's
Bruce.
like,
Come
come
on.
Such an idiot, incapable of talking to people. He
But
just
it's,
like me
he's like
for
supposed to
real.
be Batman too. So,
For
yeah,
real, for
that's
real.
fine. But yeah, like I said, I don't.
Well, I like that it's a Batman that's not that
Yeah.
smart.
He's learning his early years.
All hubris.
It's like they keep doing these like Batman. It's his early years. Like the Matt Reeves one is like his early years too, and this one.
I want to see Batman before he's Batman, but when he's a little
like
kid.
earlier.
You know what I mean?
I want to see the opposite. I want to see him like
I
in
mean-
the grave almost, like 1 foot in the grave.
Now that we're talking about some spoilers too, I just want to say that kid scene where he's just like staring. I'm going to talk about it again and again, but that's
was
where
gonna
he's
say.
just staring wide-eyed at Alfred.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
talking like a little kid in a
Yeah.
horror movie where
Yeah.
he's like,
He's like, I'm gonna
make
kill
him
all the
pay.
fucking criminals in the
I'm gonna
city.
kill
Oh,
them
And you're
all.
gonna be my
and you're
accomplice.
gonna help me.
and you're gonna fucking help me.
Like,
Because
it
if
was-
you don't,
and then-
you're out on the fucking street. You're back to
Yeah.
the fucking UK, you son of a bitch. You hear me? What a show.
That was my final thoughts. Love unhinged kid
Yeah,
Bruce Wayne.
yeah. I was gonna say overall,
Yeah, overall. What were we gonna say
a
overall?
good show. Just I want more of like this is funny enough. I want more
Should
of
help keep your
the
pants
same for this show. Just I think season 2 keep it more of the same in that it's good and fix the animation and have
Better
Yeah.
animation.
Better
That's not it.
animation, please. There
I
were so
want
many times where
Scarecrow.
it was like
yeah.
rough.
I want Scarecrow in a biplane. Like, I want the Gotham PD blimps. Maybe the Bat plane,
Oh,
you know?
I did. I do
Uh,
miss the blimps.
Yeah, yeah. But, what do you say we get into some plugs? Why don't we blimp our plugs a
Yeah.
little bit? I'll go first. I'll plug my Instagram, Gibbledang. And I'll plug No Dumb Idea and Tower of the Fool.
All on Instagram.
You know?
Not absolutely.
That's,
plugged Tower of the
3,
Fool.
all on Instagram.
They're
all
doing
on
a lot right
email.
now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm GymleaderNate on everything. If you gotta find me. Other than that,
Yeah.
that's all.
And you can reach me at Dala.art on Instagram. Give me a follow, and just if you want to check out some little art, little comic, cartoon thingies, just give me a little follow there.
Yeah, sick boy.
I'll cough on you if you DM me if you want me to, but I'll charge.
Oh my god.
Follow
Why
me-
don't we go
follow
ahead?
me there for
Yeah.
updates on Bear.
But I'm charging for coughs.
Bear arms, why don't we go ahead and give a shout out to coughs, Sure, we gotta give a shout out to coughs.
Yeah, thank
Shout out
you,
to being
Cobbs,
6.
you say
This
being
one goes
sick?
out
Who
to
else?
Harley Quinn.
Being six.
Is
Shout
that
out to
what you
being
said?
six.
Oh,
I remember that
sick.
time. Things were so much simpler.
This one
Yeah,
goes out to
so
every
when we would
single
go to our
Batman
butlers
voice
and
how silly they are
we
objectively.
go to our butlers and tell them
Yeah.
we're gonna kill everyone and you're helping me.
Shout out Gay Face. Gay Face. Yeah,
Shout
you
out
know
to
who you are.
Pennyworth,
Shout
Pennyworth
out.
only, no first name.
Shout out Ed Brubaker.
Hey, shout out Edward Norton.
Shout
Edward Norton.
out
Fight Club.
Dietrich,
Bader? Dietrich Bader?
Bader. Yeah,
Shout out
Dietrich
Drew
Bader.
Carey show for getting him on back in the day.
Yeah, shout out
Woo,
Ohio.
yeah, big shout out, yeah.
That's the next Batman we need. We need Batman
Yeah.
Ohio.
Ooh, you know how there's Batman Ninja, but it's Batman
Yes.
Ohio.
Yeah, and he's like on a farm.
He's on a farm. Hey, Robin, I need you to go grab the potatoes.
Yeah,
My
he's
parents
gotta
are
stop
dead.
like poachers. He like lives near bat caves.
Thank you for listening to No Dumb Idea.